Got a couple of celebrity guests here. We got The Miz and his beautiful wife, Maryse, WWE superstars, and we're talking real estate. We're talking my book, guys.
You're talking real estate?
Today we had on #1 RE/MAX agent in the world, Jordan Cohen. Jordan has a very special exclusive announcement. He tells us how to master the perfect listing presentation, and we have a surprise appearance from WWE superstar, The Miz.
The Broke Agent presents Over Ask Podcast.
Mr. Jordan Cohen, 5-time #1 RE/MAX agent in the world, joining us here with a incredibly huge Over Ask exclusive announcement today. I just want to first thank you for being here because you're one of our favorites in the whole industry. You know this, and we want to get right into your gigantic announcement.
Well, I want to thank you guys for having me because it's the only podcast I've ever done is Over Ask. So, man, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to even just see you guys and talk to you every time. Man, I love it. I love everything you guys do. I'm a super fan, so it's a true honor to be on here. I can't even tell you how excited I am.
Matt, this is full circle. I wasn't even on the first episode with Jordan. That was just you. So now the fact that we've done this podcast for 2 years and now Jordan has come to us for this announcement is pretty surreal. So we thank you and we are pumped.
Yeah, we are so excited, Jordan. Jordan, do you want to share with the audience what the big news is?
Yeah, I'm very grateful and humbled and honored, but I wrote a book and I'm excited. It's going to be a great book. Through the years, I'm very fortunate that real estate agents always hit me up and they ask me for advice and tactics and strategies. And so I decided to write a book and spill all the stuff I do, all my listing presentation, all my strategies, all my secrets in a book. And I think I'm very passionate about it. And it took over a year to write. And I think you guys know, because you read it, it's going to be a big time book. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do it.
It's not gonna be. It is a big time book. We're not just saying this. We wouldn't have it on. We wouldn't want you to announce it if we didn't read it and love it. We truly think it's gonna be like the next big real estate book. It's incredible what you've put in this book. 30 years of knowledge, 30 years of getting from, selling $200,000 properties to 20, 30, 40, $50 million properties. And you pretty much show people exactly how to do it and what you did to be successful. And dude, we're extremely stoked for you. It's amazing. Can we get a sneak peek of the cover? What's it called?
It's called The Agent's Edge: Secret Strategies to Win Listings and Make Your Fortune Selling Real Estate. I had a pretty epic forward from my client and friend, Sylvester Stallone, who was unbelievable that he did that for me. And that's the book, guys. I'm overwhelmed with joy and excitement. This is very special. It's unusual because kind of like every other realtor is probably watching this. All I do is sell real estate. I'm not on reality TV or any of that kind of stuff. I just sell real estate. But I got the opportunity to do this. I was approached to write a book. I should probably have said that in the beginning. It wasn't like my idea to do it. I was approached to do it. And obviously I jumped at it. You live your life. You get an opportunity to write a book. You take it, right? That's your legacy. Someday my grandkids will be able to say that their grandfather wrote a book and I did it and I poured my heart and soul into it. I wanted it to be a different kind of a book. It's not a motivational book. I don't exercise. I don't drink carrot juice. I don't do any of that kind of stuff that, I don't want to tell people to do vision boards because I don't do any of that stuff. I obviously do not dress for success. This is good duds for me. So it certainly was never going to be a book on that kind of stuff. When I committed to it, I wanted to write a book that would help real estate agents win listings. That's the key to real estate, is in a competitive situation, in an interview presentation situation, be able to walk in, own the room, know what to do and say to win against other real estate agents. And that's my strength. That's my passion. And so I pour it all out there. I give my entire listing presentation into the book. And I think it's in a very easy to read format. I wanted to give real nuggets. I wanted to give like a seminar type of situation in the book where somebody reads this thing and they're going to be better real estate agents when they're done reading it than they were before they read it. That was my goal. That's my passion. And the fact that you guys say that I accomplished that means the world to me.
Well, Jordan, I've read 3 books in my entire life. I've read Holes, I've read Prisoner of Azkaban, and I've read The Agent's Edge. And this book has taught me more about real estate, swear to God, than the 5 years of experience that I had any
Than
sort of real
Holes?
estate courses, than Holes, than Chamber of Secrets, than the $1 Million Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. This book is the nuts and bolts, everything you need to know about becoming a successful realtor. And what I love, just right into it, chapter 1, you could feel like your humbleness come out, and it's so relatable because you do talk about the way you went about like your first listing. And it's a story that you kind of have to read in the book, but you had your fiance, and I mean, if you want to tell it, I don't want to give it away. I feel like you could tell it better than me, but you had this crazy story about how you secured the listing and you had a buyer move in early and it became a disaster. And I think just like starting off the book with that and just showing people like your first deals, your first listing presentation, not a success compared to where you are now.
Okay, well, yeah, I started off like everybody else, right? I didn't know what I was doing. I was 23 years old. I just graduated from college with a 2.05 GPA. I squeaked by, I cheated my way through school. I admit it now, I didn't realize it, but I have ADD. I couldn't read. I couldn't do any of those things, but I had a good personality. So I was told to go into some sort of sales. So I did. And I went right into real estate. And then I joined a brokerage, and the story on why I chose the brokerage is in the book. It's pretty good, but I chose the brokerage, and then I did everything they told me to do. I door knocked, I cold called, I did all this stuff. And then I actually got my first 2 listing interviews, my first 2 listing appointments. And it took a little bit, and man, I was fired up. I got in my used Acura. I got into my used Honda Accord with the spinning wheels and put on my fake gold watch.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and my short sleeve dress shirt with the big tie, and I had my attaché case, the same one that was given to me for my bar mitzvah. And I went into the listing interview, and I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do, and I actually had 2 of them back to back. And both these listings were $200,000 homes, which I would have made $6,000, which would have doubled my net worth. I had no money. I lived at home with my parents, and I realized at that moment that who's ever better in 1 hour, hour and a half, whatever time it takes in that period is going to get that listing, because I failed. I failed on both of those. So I dedicated so much of my time, energy, passion to becoming better and more confident and creating a listing presentation, which is what I share here. Obviously, it's evolved over the years, but that's what happened. But yeah, to get back to what you were saying is my first story. I got my listing, my first listing, so many other people do, from family, right? So my in-laws. So I was dating my girlfriend at the time, who eventually became my fiance and is my wife now. We've been happily married for 30 years. And that was my first listing. And I didn't know shit about it, right? So I listed the home. I got somebody from an open house. They made an offer. I didn't know what 10% down versus 20% down, but I was too much pride to even ask how to do the deal. And then we were in escrow. And then what happened was that people asked if they can move in early. I apologize for this. The people asked if they could move in early. I said, sure, why not? I didn't know what the difference was. They moved in 2 weeks before the close. And then the day before close, they got rejected for their loan. And back in those days, 28, 29 years ago, there was no such thing as contingencies. The contingency period for loans ran all the way through. And I found out that they couldn't get their loan. And I was fucked. I went into tears. These people were living in my future in-laws' home. They had no loan. They knew nothing. I went outside my office, put my head in my thing, my head in my lap. And my broker came over to me and said, hey, what's going on? So at that point, I realized I needed to ask for some help. Solved the problem, got him a new loan, late, but we got him a new loan, and there we go. So we all make mistakes. I learned from those mistakes. And obviously, I'm a much better real estate agent today.
The relatability in this book is so inspiring, and it's an inspiring book without trying to be inspiring. Because of where you are now and where you started, so many people are in the position where you were. And I think even people just listening to this right now, just your voice. And when I was reading the book, at least I read it in your voice the entire time because it is so you to a T. Like you really captured your voice in the book, which I think a lot of people don't do.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I
yeah.
appreciate that, man. Yeah. Again, this was not meant to be an inspiring book. Like I said, it
Mhm.
wasn't meant to be a motivational book. Zero of that. This is meant to be an educational book, a business book for all real estate agents. Whether you're brand new, whether you're middle of the road, or whether you're a luxury agent, I think I give enough skill set strategies to make you better. I know I do. I'm very confident in that based on you guys and a few other people that have read it. I couldn't be more proud of it and more excited about it. I'm very confident everybody will like the book.
At least you had that. Your first experience is probably one of the worst experiences you could possibly have. I mean, having people move into your future wife's house beforehand. Imagine telling a seller now, like, yeah, hey, the buyers, they want to move in right now. You know, like
I let them move in. You know, I didn't know what the difference was. I didn't know what loan approval was.
Exactly. Right. I still don't know what it is. So yeah, I mean,
The story's so good.
It's great.
It's so
and
good.
then there's another story which you may want to get into now, or again save for the book, where you're literally going to a showing and you have to pull over because you're so nervous and you're puking on the side of the road. And I found all of this, like, I was like, thank God, because when you see all these top agents talking on panels, they don't even appear to be human almost, right? Because you're just like, well, how did, like, I'm not going to use any names, but you don't find any relatability with what they're saying. And for someone like you, who's been the #1 Remax agent 5 times, and then seeing the nervousness and anxiety that you felt, and then the contrast to the success, that's what I love so much about it, is it makes the reader buy in more to what you're saying, because they're like, hell yeah, this is exactly what I went through. I feel those nerves in my stomach when I'm just pulling up to any showing. And the fact that you had to pull over and start yakking, I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. There are a few celebrity stories in the book. It's not a celebrity book. It's not a celebrity real estate book, but I do tell some pretty awesome celebrity stories in how they relate to real estate to help a real estate agent and some of the benefits that can arise if you do certain things from the book. As you'll read about, on how to use Instagram, certain things like that, what it could lead to. But what you're talking about was a game changer for me, man. Like, my favorite actor of all time, my favorite celebrity. There's no number 2. My #1 guy has always been Sylvester Stallone, right? I was 10 years old in 1976 when Rocky came out. And that's probably the only movie that's just got me, man. It just got me. So I've seen Rocky. I've seen all the Rockies, I've seen all his movies so many times. He's my favorite actor. And when I got referred to him, man, it was, wow, this is going to be a big one. And when I heard that voice for the first time, when I first talked to him, I had to pull over. And that's not when I got sick, and just sit there for a minute. That voice is just, man, it's so distinctive. And I remember hanging up that phone and going, man, I can't believe I just talked to Rocky, man. It just blew my mind. And he's an incredible person, and his wife and Jennifer and the kids, they're like the most amazing people. And but what you're talking about was, so I found them a home. It was going to be a summer rental for the beach for the summer. And I found that, and we were all set to go see it. And it was a Saturday morning. I think the showing was scheduled for around 11 o'clock. And starting the day before, man, I have no shame in admitting I get starstruck on a couple, right? I've ripped about 150 athletes and a bunch of actors and singers and stuff. And it's very rarely do I get starstruck, but I'm not ashamed to admit, in this case, man, I was over the top. So I was all set to meet him and show him this rental. And I was driving up to my office. I woke up that morning. I said to my wife, I go, I'm sick to my stomach. I can't do this. So what's wrong with you? I go, I don't know. I don't know if it's stomach flu or what that, but I start freaking out. So I went and took a shower, got dressed, and I was still sick. And I leave and I start heading up. And I go, I just need some coffee or something. And on my way to Starbucks, the nerves got me, man. And I pulled over, started throwing up, and just sick as a dog, and I had to cancel the showing. I called Jennifer and said, I came up with something, stomach flu or something, but I can't meet you guys. I don't want to get you guys sick. I was heartbroken. I called the listing agent. He did a courtesy showing for me. I remember going back to my room, tail between my legs, going, man, I can't believe I might have just lost my only opportunity to meet my hero, to meet my icon. And
Yeah.
so that's a true story. And then obviously that has changed where now I get to represent him on real estate transactions. And he wrote the forward to my book, which is, man, I can't even tell you how much I appreciate that. Man, it's a pretty awesome forward. The things he says is about me is just brought a tear to my eye when I read it.
I mean, it's not even, it doesn't even seem real that
Yeah.
Rocky Balboa wrote your forward to your book.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
insane to me. Now, in the book, there's a large emphasis on the listing appointment. You are a wholehearted believer that if you have a great listing appointment, you can pretty much win anything. Like, you can get all the business in the world with that one thing. If you had to choose one thing, desert island, it seems like you're going with your listing appointment. That's the one thing
Yep.
that you're going to do. Why do you think that's so important for agents to understand?
Yep, there's 7 chapters on it. I wrote chapters on a lot of different things. You're not going to just learn my listing presentation in the book. You're going to learn a lot of things. You're going to learn my strategies for open houses. You're going to learn, which is, it's really good stuff there on how to get listings from open houses rather than just buyers. I kind of flip scripts that I came up with many years ago. But there's a whole lot of different things that I give to help real estate agents. But I truly believe the most important skill set a real estate agent can have is the listing presentation. And I think that gets lost. I think everybody always talks about lead gen, which, and CDM or CRM. I'm not even sure what those initials stand for, but all that kind of shit. What everybody talks about. Yeah. And even social media, doing videos and all this kind of stuff, which is great to get in front of somebody, but it gets kind of lost on, okay, what to do now when you get the interview. So I think that's the most important thing, because I think once you have a strong, powerful, dynamic, unbeatable listing presentation, real estate becomes fun. You're going to, even when you're cold calling, you're going to ask for that. You're going to beg to get that interview. And I notice I say interview. I don't call it a listing appointment. I say a listing interview, because you're interviewing for the job of working for somebody, right? So it's a listing interview. So when you have a lot of confidence in your presentation, I don't mean just walking in there talking about comps and the company you work for, but when you can go in there and win and show them that the job of a realtor is to maximize the exposure of their home. And let me tell you how I'm going to do it. And boom, boom, in a different, unique, and powerful way, you're going to win listings every time. You're going to make a lot of money, and you're going to have fun doing it. And you're going to get more listing opportunities. If you don't have a lot of confidence in your presentation, you're going to be quicker to hang up the phone, right? Like I love, like even in all broke agent, when you guys give all this great stuff on the market and you give great stuff on prospecting, and it's amazing. Byron Lazine gives so much incredible information for all real estate agents, but there's not a whole lot on skill for listing presentation. And everybody has their own thing, but I think it's going to be a groundbreaking book.
Yeah, you're so right. You say in the book, let me pull up the quote here. You can have 1 million followers, subscribers on YouTube, buy Zillow leads, but until you're sitting down with them in the room, it means absolutely nothing. And that is so true. And you're so right. All of our content is basically directed at the process of lead generation and accumulating these followers and videos to actually, at least get the conversation going. But the tactics in this book are the face-to-face, what you actually have to say, how to actually build that confidence. And, we talked about it, or you guys talked about it on the first podcast, but the way you went about preparing for your listing presentations, practicing in the mirror, role-playing with your wife and having her give you the objections and everything, like that's the real nitty-gritty stuff that I think we haven't mentioned too much on this podcast. And it's refreshing to read that again and see like this is actually what gets you in the door and what actually starts that conversation.
My goal when I give a presentation, an interview, is to not have the seller want me, but to have them need me, to create enough information to them to where when I'm done, they need me. It's almost embarrassing for them to ask me to discount my commission. That's my goal. That's my drive. And it's set stuff that I do. It's set language. Well, you read the book. It's set language. It's who I look at. Every little thing that you need to just step right in and win is in the book. And like I got asked by the publisher, I'm so grateful, and we'll talk a little bit about like how it even came about, the book and the publisher and all that stuff. Is, Jordan, you're not retired. I said, hell no, I'm in my zone right now. They go, are you sure you want to give all your stuff? Because I compete every day now. I compete against great real estate agents every day. And I said, yeah, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it. And I don't care if my competitors and colleagues and friends know what I do and say. I don't care. They're still not going to be able to present it with the tonality, I think, as the way I do it. But it's well, I forgot what I was talking about, so cut that part out.
Well, no. One thing,
cut it out of
me, Eric and I do that literally all the time.
Yeah.
But one thing you said there was language, and throughout the whole book, as I was reading it, it's so subtle, but just as you're sharing kind of scripts you use, it was very almost refreshing to read it all, because I was like, oh wow, like you're saying almost the same thing I would say, but it makes so much more sense. Literally, the wording you use in how you say and how you set certain things up. I think people are going to find a lot of like hidden, like, I think this is a book that you should be reading 2, 3, 4, 5 times, because you're constantly going to find these little nuggets. Yeah. Like it's crazy. I love that part of it, that it's so subtle and you probably didn't even realize you were doing it, because that's just how you just set up this language for yourself that it's all, like you said, it's almost impossible for you to lose.
I hope that's my goal, right? Is to never lose, or if I do lose, it's something because of price or whatever. But yeah, that's my goal, to create, and I have enough confidence in myself that I believe that. I believe I have an unbeatable presentation. If you present what I do and say the correct way, it's tough to beat. I'm confident in that. I'm not arrogant about it, because I'm certainly not an arrogant guy. There's nothing to be arrogant about. I'm 5'6.5" with 2 pairs of socks on, 38-inch waist. I'm fat and short. There's nothing to be arrogant about. I don't bleach my hair back. I don't wear skinny jeans. I don't do anything to be arrogant about. I'm not on TV. I don't do anything like that. But I'm confident in my presentation, and I'm confident about everything else I wrote about in the book. And I think it's pretty fun to read. I tell some great celeb stories. There's some good comedy in there. But the one thing that we're not talking about yet, my ace in the hole, is I got you guys. And in my book, which is the most exciting thing for me, and I'm so grateful about that, I'll tell you guys a little bit about how that came about. So when I was outlining like certain chapters and what you could do to be a better real estate agent, and again, you will be a better real estate agent after reading this book. There's no doubt in my mind. You might not be as motivated or anything like that, but you're going to be a better real estate agent. And so when I came about social media, I have no ego. I don't mind admitting I don't know everything about everything, right? So I don't think any real estate agent does. So I don't know everything about everything, but especially about social media. I have a great following. I got a lot of followers, and I'm blown away that I have a blue check and all that, because of the celebrities that I've been very fortunate to represent. So I have all that stuff, but I don't know any of the technical stuff. So when I started writing this book, I go, I got to get the best. I got to get the absolute best in the social media space to help me with this, because I can't do it on my own. And obviously I reached out to Eric and Matt, and they helped me write, like, I think it's the best chapter, and I'm blown away by it. The publisher loves it, and everybody loves it. And we wrote an epic chapter just on social media that will help every real estate agent without a doubt. You guys talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, this is an evergreen social media chapter. So it's not just like, oh, here's how to get more followers on Instagram. It's kind of more the principles, and talking about how social media evolves and how to put yourself out there. And Matt's talking about, finding your niche and your authentic voice and everything. And it was such a cool experience for us to sit down with you and actually talk this out and be a part of something that, is going to be a New York Times bestseller, and is going to be,
I hope so, man. That's my goal. That's my dream.
And like you said, when we put out content, there's a half-life, or there's a 24-hour period that people consume this. When you put something in a book, this is something that stays around forever. So we're honored to be a part of this. And I know Matt, we talk about all the time how cool it is to experience working with Jordan and being in this book.
Thanks, man. I met
100%.
Eric when he was just getting started, man, and he hit me up and he goes, "Hey, man, can I send you a Broke Agent T-shirt?" I didn't really know what Broke Agent was. I go, "Sounds cool." And then obviously I went on and I go, "Man, that's like the coolest dude." And we just talked, and I knew that you were going to be a rock star at this, man. I'm not like kissing your ass or anything like that, but I knew there was a talent there, and obviously that talent's growing. Then I saw you posted something with one of Matt's posts, and you like said something about him, and I went, "Oh, I'll go on there." Man, that was the best, funniest video on the planet. And I DM'd him. I just go, "Hey, man, dude, you got so much talent at this. Congratulations." And he's my favorite follow. You know, those videos, I get so excited to watch them. And so to have you two people that I just consider friends, that I have the highest level of respect, and I'm so grateful that you guys jumped in to help me participate in my book. It's a great chapter. Hopefully we write a whole book together.
Yeah.
I think that will happen. And there's nothing I'd love more than us three to write a pretty fun book.
To tell
I think it's going to happen.
the type of guy Jordan is when I came out with Commission Impossible, which rivals the Agent's Edge in terms of, you know, tactical advice, of course, Jordan called me. And, you know, Jordan and I had never spoke on the phone. We had DM'd back and forth together. And out of nowhere, I just get this call from Jordan Cohen. I remember where I was. I was outside of a co-working space, and I was so shocked. He was just like, "It's Jordan Cohen." I was just like, holy shit. The fact that this guy is calling me, who is doing hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate sales and working with Aaron Donald and Stallone and all these people, is calling me to just tell me he likes my stupid comic book, was really such an encouraging, like, meaningful thing. So I really do appreciate this. I know we're just kind of going.
Dude, I bought it.
I know you bought it. I don't even think I sent it to you.
That was the second book I read after the autobiography of Joe Namath when I was in third grade. And your book was easier for me to read than that one, man. I love that. I read it all the time.
It's easy. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, and before we just keep giving everyone compliments, exactly. I will say the type of person Jordan is and it will show the attention to detail in his book. The even the littlest thing, like Eric was just saying, Jordan sells hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate. He's the #1 RE/MAX agent in the world, and he calls me, you know, earlier today just to make sure that everything's set up properly for this podcast, for him to come on and do the podcast. It's little things like that go the longest way. And, you know, we always appreciate you so much, but I just wanted to share that little point because, like, there's so much detail and there's no stone left unturned with anything you do. And I want people to know that and emphasize that the book is, you know, no exception. It's the fucking banger of a book. And I don't read. I do not read. And I was telling you, it's very ezy to read. And when I'm reading it in your voice, like it's funny because I can hear, like, I laugh out loud because I can hear you telling the stories, which is so funny.
Everyone stop for a second. This market is a little bit tighter than it has been in the past few years, which means leads are not necessarily banging down the door. But you know who isn't worried right now? Agents who use BoomTown, the #1 rated real estate CRM in the game.
That's right. BoomTown, it was actually founded in 2008, Eric. Do you know that?
Yeah, the same year the Phillies won the World Series against the Rays. How could I forget?
I'll take your word for it. In the middle of a housing crisis, their CEO, Greer Allen, built it from the ground up with the explicit intention of empowering agents to be successful no matter the market. So if you're ready to build a truly bulletproof business, visit BoomTown, ROI.com/overask. Plus, see here you can score 750 big ones in free digital advertising. That's BoomTown, ROI.com/overask. What I want to ask you is what are you hoping agents get from this? Like, what are you hoping that agents pull from this this book?
That's a great question, Matt. Literally, and I can't tell you how humbled I am to get this. Not a day goes by that I don't either get a DM or an email or a call from realtors, not just RE/MAX agents who I love RE/MAX. I love the company. I love the brand. I love the leadership from the top. As you know, we're all independent contractors. We can work wherever we want. And frankly, I choose RE/MAX because I like it, right? It is what it is. And I love everything about it. And so I get messages, but not just from RE/MAX agents. I get them from agents of all companies all the time. And they ask me advice. What would you do and say in this situation? Do you have any advice, especially from new agents? Do you have any advice for a new agent to get started? How do I pick a broker? Or it could be even from a young kid in high school that wants to get into real estate. That's the key, right? There's nearly 2 million real estate agents. It's the hottest profession there is. A lot of that's because of reality TV, right? People watch that and they think, realtors make $400,000 a year sitting at a cafe drinking iced tea and a deal gets made from a cell phone. We all know that's not how it works. But, that encourages, which is a great thing. It brings in, a lot of real estate agents. So there's nearly 2 million of us. And I can't even imagine how many more there are that want to be real estate agents. And they hit me up all the time. And I reply to every message. I reply to every DM, every email. And I tried to give the best advice I can to become a better realtor. So that's what I answer all of that in the book. My goal is for everybody that reads the book to say, man, I'm better now. I get this, man. I can't wait to go into a listing interview and win. I can't wait to do my next prospecting. I can't wait to start geographical farming. I can't wait to be given objections in order to overcome them. I can't wait to overcome objections before they're even said. That's one of my goals in my presentation is you get the common objections. I answer all of them in my presentation. There's nothing I like more than at the end of my presentation when I say, do you have any questions for me? And they say, nope, you answered all of them. Wow, you answered all of them. And that's a goal of mine on every time. So I think I overcome all those objections. So my goal is for everybody that reads this to just go, man, I get this business a little bit more. I can't wait to do it. And I'm better at it now. And again, at all levels, it's not a luxury book. Fortunately now, I sell luxury real estate, but it didn't start like that. The first 7 years in the business, I was entry level. My average sales price was under $200,000. And then I gained the confidence from creating a listing presentation and said, you know what, I think I could do this. I sold my first $1 million home in an area that I didn't even know where it was. I don't know if I told this story on the last podcast, but it's the truth. I was very happy where I was. I was making great money. And then I got my first professional athlete and he said, hey, why don't we look? He had just signed a contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. And he goes, why don't we look in Westlake Village? I think there's some guard-gated communities there. And I said, yeah, man, there's some great guard-gated communities there. I didn't even know where Westlake was. It was before the internet. That's a true story. I go, oh, shit, I better learn. Yeah, wow, I got my first $1 million buy. I better learn where this is. And then I called a couple people that I met at a seminar and a couple agents. I go, man, is there any gated communities in Westlake? Like, where is it? And he kind of told me where it was. Again, this was before the internet. And I came out there and it's this beautiful community, right? Grass in the middle of the streets, great weather. And it was just a nicer city and town than where I lived. And I met the realtors and I learned they're all great. They're all really nice, but I didn't think they were better than me, but they were selling $1 million homes and I wasn't. And I did that transaction and I said to myself, I said, man, these agents are just in a position to sell $1 million homes and I'm not. But I had enough confidence in myself to actually think I was better than them or just as good as them. So I packed up my family and I moved, started all over after 7 years. So now I sell luxury real estate, but I didn't write the book on how to sell luxury real estate. I think there's one chapter in there on transitioning into the luxury market because I did it. I transitioned with no help from entry-level housing straight into the luxury market. I did that. That was my goal to do it, and I did it. So I tell some strategies on how to do that and some of the things that I did in order to accomplish that. But that's one chapter. That's not what this book is about. This book is about everybody. This is from entry to brand new to middle of the road to people that even if you do great, I always think, I know I used to be like this. I would spend thousands of dollars going to seminars, and I was happy if I learned one line, one nugget. I think I give 100 of them. You guys tell me if that's true. I think I give enough where for $28, it's like I give a lot.
Yes.
And I'm proud of that.
100%. There's a chapter in it for everyone. I really wholeheartedly believe that. I'd love to get in give people a little snippet of what your maybe some of the objections, because you go over it a little bit in your in the book with the listing interview objections. Say when people are trying to undercut your commission. Like, how do you handle something like that? A lot of people get flustered when that conversation comes up. Jordan, we love what you do, but we want you to do it for 4%.
Right. Well, I have a strategy to that, right? So again, I talk about price and commission at the end of my presentation. I was trained by a highly respected seminar guy, whatever, trainer in the very beginning of my career that said, always talk about price right in the beginning. Talk about price, because if you can't agree on price, why give a presentation? Get out of there and go on to your next presentation. But then at that point, I would do that, and then I would see that, then I'd get out because we couldn't agree on price, and then I would see that listing come up at a price that was like pretty good with another real estate agent. I said, man, what am I doing wrong here? So I realized at that point that my goal is to give the price and talk about commission at the very end, especially the price. I want them, again, like I said earlier, to need me, feel like they need me. And the better your presentation, the more strength, the more powerful it is. It's almost embarrassing for them to even ask for a discount on commission. It's always going to happen, but it's harder for them. It's so much easier to overcome that if they respect you. The way I look at it is like a doctor. If you're going in for elbow surgery, you want to know you're getting the best surgeon. And if that surgeon tells you what needs to be done, you're going to listen to him differently than if it's, an agent a doctor that kind of, stutters her words or maybe not as well respected in the thing. You're going to always question. So it's the same thing. So I want to give such a good presentation that it's almost embarrassing for them to do that. And same with pricing. So pricing is the hardest thing that all realtors do. There's a reason why there's thousands of homes that are sitting on the market, because they're all overpriced. Otherwise, there's no reason. So if you give a great presentation, they're going to have more confidence in you. They're going to listen to you more when it comes down to pricing and commission. So I think a lot of that is overcome with a great presentation. But yeah, I give some great lines to overcoming that. I give my strategies for that.
You also mentioned
in the book, you will see exactly my strategy for saving your commission.
Yeah. You also mentioned that you want to be the first real estate agent to present if there's 5 or 6 people. Yep. And I was always told at the beginning of my career, you want to be the last agent to present, because if you're first or second, then the seller is basically, using what you said with the other agents and kind of like basing their decision on that. So why do you want to be the first person in the door for a listing presentation?
Yeah, I always want to be the first, because my goal is to have them say, why even interview anybody else? Man, this guy gets it. He's the best. He's going to get me top dollar. There's no question. What do we need to sit for 3 hours with other real estate agents? Because that happened to me. In the beginning, I would actually get that cancellation call. Jordan, I know we were set up to do an interview, and I appreciate that, but we're just going to go with the agent that we just talked to. And nothing pisses me off more than that. I'm a very competitive guy. I think you have to be competitive to be successful in a commission-based business, right? When you're in commission sales, you have to have an element of competitive edge, right? So nothing's worse than not even getting up the bat or even getting in the game. So I said, that's never going to happen again. So I switched it to where, hey, I beg to be first. And I say that with confidence. Let me go first. Hopefully, by the time I'm done, you're not even going to want to talk to anybody else, because you're going to realize nobody else brings to the table what I bring to the table, things like that. But yeah, I always try to go first, because I have confidence in what I'm going to say, and it works most of the time. I don't think people are. I was told to go last because people are going to forget what the first people say, what the first agent says, so they might as well go with the last one because they're tired of interviewing realtors. I don't think people are so stupid to do that. I don't think people are just going to forget. I think if you're great at it, they remember. These are people that own homes at all price points. They're not all stupid.
Yeah.
To fall into that trick. Oh, yeah. Oh, got a couple of celebrity guests here. We got The Miz and his beautiful wife, Maryse, WWE superstars, and we're talking real estate. We're talking my book, guys.
You're talking real estate? Talking your book?
Yep.
Did you tell them how we met?
No, I haven't said anything.
Yeah, how
did you meet?
In Calabasas, right? We were renting in Calabasas, and we were trying to figure out if this is where we wanted to live. We had no idea what we wanted to do, right? And so we met him through Instagram, saw some houses he had, and we were like, hey, can we look at this house? We didn't get that house because we just didn't like it. And he said, well, what do you want? And I go, we want this, and this. And he goes, okay. Like a day later. Well, actually, it was like 6 months later, right?
Well, it was a day later when I was hustling.
Yeah.
It was like immediate,
Yes.
immediate
About
hustle.
6 months later.
We had another person that we were using, and then when we were going into Westlake, we were like, Jordan just knows this area. Like, he knows everybody in it. He knows everybody. And so when you were like, look, am I your agent? If I am your agent, I will work for you. I will dedicate myself for you. I will do everything I possibly can to find you guys a house. And I was like, you are my agent. The next day, he's like, I got a house. It's like, all right, okay, Jordan. And he goes, it's not on the market. And literally showed us the house, and we said, we'll take it. That's how fast.
Crazy, Jordan. That house, I drove, and I saw that house probably like 5 years before, and then that was it. That was the house. Isn't it weird how everything comes back around?
I didn't know that.
We were looking around the neighborhood that he showed us a house before that he was like, look, it's selling. This house will be sold in a matter of like a day. So if you want it, you need to get it now. If not, then I'm going to sell it to the other people. And I was like, you can just sell that house. And so we went around the neighborhood and we saw the house that we live in now. And Jordan, it wasn't for sale. And we were just like, man, if we could get that house, that'd be the dream. And Jordan somehow figured it out and did it.
And you know what's great about it? Now we're like the best of friends. Go to their kids' birthday parties. You know, it's like I always tell realtors, you never know if you're going to hit the lottery. And I hit the lottery with these guys.
From Instagram,
Yeah.
From Instagram.
of all things, social media.
Did he
So
like
guys-
how did you discover him on Instagram? Like, were you just searching for Los Angeles real estate agents, or how did that first communication start?
So we were in Austin, right?
So we flew from Austin to Los Angeles.
We were living in Austin.
And then we landed at LAX, and just waiting for my bag, I was looking online, and then I find Jordan just like that. And I said to Mike, I think I'm going to send him a DM just to see. He's probably not going to answer. He's so busy, probably. And then hit me up right away.
We were looking on Zillow. So we were looking on Zillow to find a houses to go look at. And all these houses were like guard gated communities. So you had to get the agent, and it was hard to call these agents. Like, she was like calling them and just getting voicemails. And I was like, we're here for 5 hours. We only have 5 hours to get stuff done. And she was like, look, there's this Jordan, I'm just gonna DM him. And so we started finding like these people on Instagram and started DMing them and being like, hey, we want to look at this house. He was the only one to literally not only like call, like DM us back, but then call us back and be like, yep, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, great. Yes. Perfect.
If there's one thing we know about Jordan,
Love
it's
that.
that he responds to everything immediately.
Yeah,
Every time I text
immediately.
Jordan's the busiest realtor on earth, by the way, but the second you text him, he calls you immediately, or he texts you immediately.
Yeah.
Like the guy's communication is through the world. Jordan, what did you think when the Miz DM'd you on Instagram? Did you freak out?
Yeah, and how does no one respond to the
Yeah,
Miz?
exactly.
Like, what's
Who's
going
leaving you on
there?
red? That's psychotic.
Yeah, I totally freaked out, right? You know, you see that blue check, and then you go, and I'm a wrestling fan, right? So then, you know, obviously you get in, and Maryse, you know, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this is too big. This is too exciting. I almost thought it was a joke. And then, you know, it wasn't a joke. So I was pretty stoked, man. Wasn't it like from a hashtag, though, that you guys found me? Mike, were you searching hashtags?
No,
That's
we
what I
were.
thought.
I thought it was like Zillow. I thought you were looking at, it was that house in Westlake. I can't remember.
It just popped up?
Yeah, it popped up and your name was under it. And so we looked up your name on Instagram, well, she did, and then found your DM, and that's how it went.
Man, isn't that great?
And then all your videos are really nice. It's all like, it's just super organized. Because, you know, you want to work with someone that's super organized and like it's smooth, but it's really, you got it down.
Sometimes I can't stand it because I'll look at your Instagram and I'll go, well, I like that house too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get jealous of all the other houses. Why are you guys in the office? Why are you guys in the office?
Why are you guys
now? Are you doing another transaction, or are you just hanging out with Jordan?
We're doing we're
Renovating
right now, yeah. And so I like hanging out with Jordan. How about that?
Absolutely.
So
Like hanging out
so
at
the house
to
the
do
house
some-
you're in the house you're in now is the dream house? Jordan found you the dream house?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it needed a lot of renovations, but like it's there. Like every time someone walks past our house and like we're walking our dogs, like our neighborhood is like where people just walk their dogs, and it's really, everyone knows each other. And whenever someone that I haven't met yet walks by, they go, "This is the house. Like this is the best house in the whole neighborhood." And I'm like, "Yep, that's right."
By the way, these guys right here, Matt and Eric, they're the most powerful guys in real estate on social.
Okay, yeah.
Thank
The
you.
most powerful
Is
guys.
Instagram. They add the comedy to it. So you get hundreds of thousands of downloads, huh, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
they're
do.
be watched by a whole lot of real estate agents. So,
What are you
man,
telling like real estate people to do now that it kind of the market's cooled off?
We're telling them to do way more education videos. So doing green screen videos where they're actually like breaking down an article and debunking a news story and doing kind of listicle kind of presentation education videos, because the last couple of years we were all doing a bunch of comedy videos, which Matt crushes it at. But now that kind of marketing, not that it's still working for Matt, of course, but that sort of marketing for real estate agents is kind of falling by the wayside as clients want to see, okay, what's actually going on in the market? How can I feel good about the process right now? So that's kind of what we're telling agents to do. Far more education stuff.
to find more buyers
Yeah.
and more
Yeah.
sellers. Right? That's
And more
yeah.
sellers.
Through
Yeah,
social
exactly.
media. So you think social media is basically the way to go now? It's or social media, or whether it's TikTok. And are you on TikTok?
nah, I gotta get.
You
on
have to get on TikTok.
I-
What is wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't even know how to
That's
do
why I
that.
have to tell you to get on this
shit.
stuff.
Will you help me load it up?
Kids are doing. Do you want the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids talking to
The-
parents and you gotta
The
get
next generation.
Jordan.
Yeah, fuck, I gotta get on that shit. I don't even know how to put it in my phone.
Jordan,
Oh my
Jordan,
god!
if you filmed a TikTok with the Miz in the background, you would explode. Trust me. If you guys
Yeah.
if you had that celebrity
Right
appeal, it would
away.
be ridiculous. So yeah, you should get on TikTok. We'll talk about that on the
I gotta-
podcast also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get on.
Yeah.
That, man. Well,
Get
yeah.
on your horse, man, and you need to start getting these people. Like when your book comes out, you need to sit there and start saying, "Hey, read some excerpts from your book on TikTok or Instagram to give these people exactly what the knowledge that they need to be as successful as you."
hey, you don't think I'm gonna take this advice to
Oh.
heart? I'm on it.
Let's
He's a
go.
I'm on
sponge.
it.
Hell yeah.
How great are these
Yeah.
guys, man? Are they not the best?
They're
In
the
my
best.
opinion, they were the coolest clients I've had. Just cool,
Right,
easy to deal with.
right. Aaron Donald is in your client. If Aaron Donald was here, you guarantee you'd be like, "Yeah, he's my favorite client."
This guy's a sales guy. He knows what to say.
You know?
Well, guys, nice
That's
to meet
awesome.
you all.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks for
Yeah, it was
joining
great
us.
meeting you. Thank you so much for
Get a
passing
lot of
by
information
here.
off this guy. He's got a lot of good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So Jordan, I've noticed that you've become great friends with a lot of your clients. I mean, you just had the Miz and Maryse in there. You're literally sitting courtside with Aaron Donald. Sylvester Stallone wrote the foreword to your damn book. So you don't just, facilitate these transactions and then you're done. So what is your relationship like after with these clients, and how do you become good friends with them, and what's your follow-up like when the deal closes?
Yeah, man, I'm lucky. I mean, I just be myself. I don't try to be phony or fake and or too animated where somebody doesn't want to hang out with me. But yeah, I'm lucky. I bond with a lot of my guys, and man, they're just great people. Like, Anthony Davis is like him and his wife, Marlon. I mean, these are just amazing friends that I love hanging out with. And sometimes I ask myself, man, it's amazing that they want to hang out with me. I'm a 56-year-old little Jewish guy. What do these, young, amazing athletes want to, hang out with a guy like me? But they do, and we chill. We hang out, go to dinner all the time, and I got a lot of clients like that. I'm proud that I don't think I kiss ass or anything like that, but I'm very proud that they want to hang with me and I want to hang with them, and we just get. And it's not just famous people. It's so many other people. Great clients.
Yeah.
Like, but like the best one is Bret Michaels. I mean, man, that was my rock. I love Poison and Bret Michaels, in the 90s and even now. And, when I hang out with him, I've done a few deals for him and we hang out and I got to go backstage and on his last tour. And man, I say to myself, I go, man, I love that guy, growing up and through high school and college. And man, here I am hanging out with the guy and, we're just buddies. Him and his wife are just friends. And I go, man, I pinch myself about that sometimes. I do. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of realtors after the deal, they kind of have these touch points where it's like, okay, in a month I'm going to call them. In 2 months I'm going to ask them, how they're liking their house, something like that. So I don't know, is there any strategy like that, or it's kind of a more natural communication where you just hit them up to either hang out or just see how they're doing?
Yeah, totally natural. I don't have any good follow-up programs or emails. I don't even give gifts or anything like that. So it's I have terrible follow-up with that kind of stuff. Listen, you bond with some people and some people you don't. And lucky I bond with some pretty cool people, but not everybody is my friend at the end of the deal. I don't like go to lunches. I don't think I've been to lunch with a client, I think maybe once or twice in 20 years. In our job, it's hard to do that, right? Because the phone's always going and you're showing properties every day. It's hard. So I don't do that kind of stuff or go to dinner or anything like that too often. But when I do, it's people I want to hang with. And, fortunately, some of them are, famous people that I idolize and we're cool. But yeah, it's fun. I'm very grateful. I sell real estate. I'm not a doctor, a lawyer, or even a school teacher. Nothing important. We sell real estate, right? Where it's this is what we do. We put people in homes and all that, but I never let it go to my head like we're big CEOs of big corporations. I think a lot of realtors do that, right? They put CEO of this team or CEO of that group. I'm an individual agent. I have 2 assistants. I don't have a buyer's agent. I don't have any listing agents. I'm a straight up individual realtor. I'm not a good businessman. I'm not a good delegator. I don't own my own company or anything like that. So for me, it's if I bond with somebody, man, it's cool because I spend the time with them because I don't have anybody that I, dish off to these people. So I hang with them.
Yeah. When they call Jordan, they get Jordan. You're not giving them to some
direct line comes
agent.
right to my office. Nobody answers my phones.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, my cell phone isn't everywhere either, though. Like, I want to be honest with that. Like, all my mailers, in the MLS, it's all my office line, which rings right to my desk. But yeah, I don't want to put my cell phone in there. And man, where would you get family time? You know what I mean? At 9 o'clock at night, you get a call, about a price. And I work mostly with emails and then the direct line to my office. And then once you're a client and then we obviously connect with cell phones. So as the Miz said, man, I'm on it. And like you said, I reply every time, boom, 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 boom. But I don't put my cell phone out there to get, I would never have a personal life. And at my age, I'm a family guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want to hang out.
Yeah. So like we said at the start, number 1 RE/MAX agent in the world. You just said you're an individual agent. You have 2 assistants. You did, what was it, 314 million last year?
In 2021, 314. Last year, a little bit over 300.
A little bit over.
2022 was not as good as 2021.
Yeah. Well,
Spent a lot of time writing the book, though, man. I got I wasn't at it as quite as hard as I was the year before.
I mean, you still broke 300 million. So I think
pretty solid.
You're good. Yeah. But how did the book come about?
It's a great story, man. So I got a call from a movie agent, TV movie agent, and he was with CAA, and he hit me up to find him a house, and I did. I got him an off-market property in the area that I farm in the North Ranch area, Westlake Village, and we hit it off, man. He's just this awesome guy, right? And then I sold him that house, and he was thrilled. And then he had me list his Hollywood Hills house, which is out of the area. By the way, I work in all areas. I don't care. I don't care if it's an hour away. I just get up earlier and I drive. And so I sold his Hollywood Hills house, and he said to me, he goes, man, Jordan, you're so good at this. You ought to write a book. I kind of laughed a little bit, and he goes, you ever thought about that? And I go, it's funny. I have. I've thought about it a lot of times, but it would be like a really how to sell real estate book. And he said, can I connect you with one of our literary agents? And I said, yeah, man, are you kidding? That's like awesome. So I connected with my literary agent, Anthony Matero at CAA, and we hit it off, and they signed me. And I go, time out. Are you telling me that I am with CAA, Creative Artists Agency? Like, I'm a real estate agent, man. I'm not on TV. And he goes, absolutely, man. This is going to be a great book. I go, oh, you know what a win that was for a real, like, I was good right there, just purely on ego to go home and tell my wife, I'm an agent, right? I'm a real estate agent. I mean, what real estate agents have an agent? But I did. And man, that was a win right there. I could have stopped right there, and it was exciting. And then you write a treatment for what the book would look like. And I did that. And I knew at that moment, I'm going to write a great book to help train realtors in my way, not somebody else's way. And I knew it would be relatable because I am a real estate agent. I'm in the trenches every day. I'm not a trainer that doesn't sell real estate. I sell real estate. So I wanted to tell exactly what it takes to be a great real estate agent coming from me. I had multiple offers from different publishers, and I went with HarperCollins Leadership. Man, that was that was one of the greatest days, man, ever. When Anthony called me and he goes, "Hey, man, we're doing a deal with HarperCollins Leadership." I just, man, my body went numb. And I go, "Man, this is real now. This is gonna be it's not self-published. This is a real book that's gonna be everywhere." And that's what happened. So I signed my contract with CAA, obviously, and then HarperCollins Leadership, and then you go to work. And it took about a year and a half, I think, to write the book because I wanted it perfect.
I remember when you called me about it.
Yeah.
But like you've been working your ass off on this with the edits and everything, and then when we came on, like it's been a process, and it's super cool to see that you're kind of at the end now. You're gonna have to change your bio to real estate agent and author, and then real estate agent and New York Times best-selling author.
Well, I hope so. That's my goal. And man, I got to tell you, my goal is the way that happens. By the way, I learned all. Again, I'm not a reader. Besides mafia books and the autobiography of Joe Namath when I was in third grade, I don't read books either. So I've never read any how-to books or a real estate book. I don't know how to listen to books, even though we're doing the audio book. So I didn't know how to do all that stuff. So I'm going to need some help getting it onto my phone because I'm not tech savvy, as you know, I'm kind of a dinosaur with that. So you guys are going to help me put that in my thing. But now comes the fun part, right? This is the promotion stuff. This is going to be fun, man. I'm excited about this, to talk about it and hopefully do a little bit of a heavy promotion on it. So I'm pretty pumped about that. But back to what you were saying about the bestsellers list.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm competitive, man. So I go, man, I want to be a best-selling author. I don't know how all that works, and it's not easy, right? So I learned, which I respect now, when an author says they're a bestseller, they earn that. You can't just buy the books yourself. Otherwise, I would to become a best-selling author.
Buy 1 million copies.
I put on the credit card for
Who
that.
wouldn't?
Yeah, just for the ego to say, best-selling author. So, but you have to sell a lot of books from pre-order, and then I think like the first week of release is if you sell a certain amount of books the right way, not just one big bulk order book, then I'm told it hits the bestsellers list. That's my goal. I want it to be organic as and hit bestsellers list. So we'll have this podcast again after it comes out in June. June 6th is when it hits.
Okay.
But right now you can pre-order it, and I hope everybody does. And you can pre-order the book, and then it lands in June 6th. So we'll have another one of these podcasts. Hopefully we'll do it right before June, before it launches. And then again afterwards, and hopefully we could celebrate together writing a best-selling.
Well, Matt, we're putting bestseller author in our bios if Jordan's book goes best-selling 100%.
You should.
And we will drop a link in the description below where you could pre-order the book. And Jordan, we are so honored that you came on our podcast to make this announcement. Like this is a huge deal for Matt and I, and to be included in this entire process was really
I'm
something.
warming up, man. I'm overwhelmed emotionally. For you to even say that kind of stuff about me is incredibly humbling, and I know I said the word grateful a bunch of times, but man, I mean it. Thank you. Thanks, Matt, Eric, for helping me. Thanks for being part of my book. Thanks for obviously promoting it, but promoting it honestly and sincerely, that you both really actually love the book. And I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Of course. Well, thank you again so much for being on. And everyone, pre-order The Agent's Edge now. It's going to be out June 6th, and you're in for it's a real treat. You're going to want to order it.
Thank you. It's going to be everywhere. And by the way, that's another cool thing, that you can buy it from like Barnes and Noble and Walmart, and Target. Like it's everywhere, right? That's an exciting thing. And I just found out it's going to be in airports, and like it's
that's huge.
Yeah, it's like huge, and man, it's overwhelming for me to think about that somebody's actually going to want to read my book, and that's I'm honored by it, touched by it. So I hope everybody likes it, and I do think everybody will. I really believe that.
Agreed. Pre-order it now. Jordan, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Love you guys. Thank you.
Presents Over Ask Podcast.